Lord, teach us to pray. Amen. I'm going to start off by telling you a story. Little Jimmy was playing in the garden when he fell and grazed his knee quite badly. Blood was running down his leg and he was in a lot of pain. He ran into the house with tears streaming down his face. He quickly found his mum and said, "Most loving and caring mother, I'm eternally grateful for all your kindness and sympathy towards everyone in the family, and especially for the way that you look after me. I know that you do all you can to help us when we get ill or hurt ourselves. Because of these amazing facts, I'm coming to you now in total confidence. I fell down and grazed my knee, and it really hurts. Could you sort it out? I ask this not because I'm a good child, but because you're a wonderful mum." I'm sure you recognize that this story is total fiction. It never happened. It never could have happened. What's just more likely is that he cried out, "Mummy!" And when he got into her arms, he might have added, "It hurts. Make it stop." As part of our course, we are looking at the Lord's Prayer. And today, we're looking at the area of petition. Petition, we all know what petition is. It's something you sign to put pressure on the government or on the council. Well, not particularly here. This is a technical term that theologians tend to use. But let's use something a little bit more maybe relevant and maybe a bit more biblical as well, because the word petition doesn't appear in many places in the Bible and in many translations at all, actually. So petition is asking God for things. So we're talking now about this asking God for things. Not praising, not worshipping, not asking for forgiveness, not confessing that we're wrong. It's asking God for things at the moment. The first reading that Linda kindly read for us includes this word asking. In the yellow there, you do not have because you do not ask God. And when you ask, you don't receive because you ask with the wrong motives. So here, James is talking about praying, about talking to God as asking. And again, in the second reading that she read, again, it starts off, ask, and it will be given you. And then everyone who asks will receive. And further on, asking for bread, asking for a fish, and in the end, your Father will give good gifts to those who ask him. So that's what it's all about, really. And so we're talking about asking God for things. And as we are working our way through the Lord's Prayer, it's give us today our daily bread that we are concentrating on. These words are very brief. We've just got 6 words there in the English. The Lord's Prayer itself is very brief, and this bit is very, very brief. And just like little Jimmy probably said, just "Mummy, please, I'm in pain, please fix it." So the Lord's Prayer here is just so very simple and basic. So we don't have to make long and special prayers. We can just pray very simply and shortly. so I can see it. Whoops, right, my. So Jesus, in his 3 years or so on the earth, will have talked about prayer many, many times. And each time he will have used different words and ways of describing things. This is true of the Lord's Prayer as well. In Matthew's Gospel, we have him early on in his ministry teaching, "Give us today our daily bread." As recorded later in Luke's Gospel, maybe a year or so later, he is recorded as saying, "Give us each day our daily bread." So we have there the difference. Give us today our daily bread, and give us each day our daily bread. In the Greek, there's actually a difference as well between the words forgive. They're both from the same root, but they are actually in different forms. The one in Matthew, the first one there, is talking about give us in the immediate, give us what we need now. And the second one, the one that Luke uses, is asking for, is give over a period, give continually, give repeatedly. So we can ask prayers, we can ask for God's help with both the immediate, the urgent, the things for today, and for the things we need continuously or repeatedly. Both of these are important ways of praying. Give me the right words to answer my colleague now, or help me to learn how to always talk to my colleagues helpfully. Both of those are ways we can and are very welcome to prayer. Now, those words are the different words, but the others are identical. So we'll just look at that one there. They're in English, they're identical. In Greek, there's a little bit of difference, but we can ignore that for now. So give us today our daily bread. There we've got the words us and our. That relates to me and to you. Both of us together. So it's you and me, your and my. We're encouraged to pray for ourselves and for others. And when we are saying this prayer in our Zoom meeting or in some other meeting, maybe in church, we are actually praying for each other. Give us today our daily bread. But of course, we are included in that word, we and us. So again, we can do both, and Jesus is encouraging us to do both. Then there's the word daily. Bible translators have got a bit of a problem here because no one really knows exactly what that word means. In all the millions of bits of Greek literature we have, epics, poems, letters, contracts, shopping lists, even in the rest of the Bible itself, this word never appears. The only two places we know of it is in Luke and Matthew in their accounts of the Lord's Prayer. So when you don't have anything to sort of compare it with, it's difficult to know exactly what it means. We don't have things to cross-reference it to. And the word is epiousios or epiousion here, And you can often work out what a word means by breaking it up into bits. But we don't know whether the first bit is epi or ep. And so it goes on. So there are at least 10 theories out there about what it means. So daily does seem to be quite likely, but it could mean daily, daily, or it could mean for tomorrow, or it could mean for the next 24 hours. It's just not very, we don't really know. It's a little bit like the advert that you've probably seen on telly with the interrogation. The interrogator asks, do your doorknobs conform to British standard 3621? And the man replies, I don't know. Nobody knows. And sometimes as followers of Jesus, we might feel that we need to be able to understand and explain everything, all about prayer, but we've got to admit there's a lot we don't understand, and we don't need to worry about that. Now, the last bit of the prayer, of this line of the prayer, is the word for bread. Give us today our daily bread. The bread was the staple food in Palestine. They had no potatoes, no rice, no yams, just bread with every meal. Bread for breakfast, bread for lunch, bread for supper. Well, actually, it was something more like chapatis than what we might call bread. Chapatis, or maybe, forgotten the other word. Naan, that's it, naan. Something a bit more like that. So we can pray for the very basic needs, for the immediate stuff, for strength to get through the day, for money to pay the bills, for coping with pain from harsh words that we've just heard. But we can also pray for the bigger things. The word bread can mean a lot more. If you're invited by an Asian friend to their home, the Urdu version of the invitation is come and have a chapati. But when it comes down to it, when you actually sit down there, you might find that you've been being presented with a veritable feast. So we can ask God for the bigger things, for safety for our family and friends, for help finding the right job, and even for world peace. So there's nothing we can't ask God for. We may not always get exactly what we ask for, but Alistair is going to deal with the thorny topic of unanswered prayer in a fortnight's time. So make sure you listen to his talk in a fortnight. In the meantime, as we ask God for things, let's just feel free to keep it simple. Talk to him about both the immediate and the long term. Ask him for help for others and for ourselves. Let's not expect to understand everything. And let's ask for the little things and the big ones. Father, give us today our daily bread.